Sergey Brin. Born in Moscow, Sergey Brin's father was a professor of mathematics at the University of Maryland, while his mother was a researcher at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. Brin immigrated to the United States with his mother and father when he was 5 years old. After graduating from Eleanor Roosevelt High School, she won the computer science department at the University of Maryland, where she started studying. Brin, who is also engaged in gymnastics, became a successful student during his high school and university years. Undoubtedly, his parents being scientists has a big share in this. Brin transferred to Stanford University in 1993 to pursue his master's degree. Here he met Larry Page and laid the foundations of Google, which today conducts studies on many subjects from space exploration to unmanned vehicle designs. We know that Google is set up in a home garage and that it is the most preferred search engine in the world by overtaking other search engines in a short time. However, Google owed this to its software, and it was possible to get ahead of other search sites such as Yahoo and AltaVista thanks to the PageRank system. The PageRank logic developed by Sergey Brin with Larry Page increased the place of sites linked from other sites in the search engine. In other words, it provided reliable results when a search was made on any keyword. Google, whose foundations relate with the Backrub project designed by Brin with Page, thus succeeded in getting ahead of other search engines and becoming the most preferred source of information. It was largely thanks to Sergey Brin that Google turned to other areas. Sergey Brin was interested in alternative energy sources and was especially concerned with renewable energy sources. Google started working on renewable energy in 2010, and this was largely thanks to Sergey Brin's incentives. It is also possible to say that Brin is one of the names that developed Google Glasses. The foundations of the technology of Google Glasses, which caused serious speculation, were laid by Sergey Brin in 2012. Considered one of the milestones of wearable computer technology, Google Glasses were largely designed and launched by Brin. Brin, which has signed many projects, seems to continue to be one of the important names of 21st century technology. Brin is one of the co-founders of Google. He graduated from the University of Maryland with degrees in mathematics and computer science. As of 2014, his net worth was $30 billion. When I was growing up, I always knew I'd be in the top of my class in math, and that gave me a lot of self-confidence. Solving big problems is easier than solving little problems. I feel there's an external angst among young people. I didn't have that. They see enormous mountains, where I only saw one little hill to climb. The kind of environment that we developed Google in, the reason that we were able to develop a search engine, is the web was so open. Once you get too many rules, that is self-innovative. You always hear the phrase, money doesn't buy you happiness. But I always in the back of my mind figured a lot of money will buy you a little bit of happiness. but it's not really true. I got a new car because the old one's lease expired. Obviously everyone wants to be successful, but I want to be looked back on as being very innovative, very trusted and ethical, and ultimately making a big difference in the world. Some say Google is God. Others say Google is Satan. But if they think Google is too powerful, remember that with search engines, unlike other companies, all it takes is a single click to go to another search engine. I would like to see anyone be able to achieve their dreams, and that's what this organization does. If Google Books is successful, others will follow. We just want to have great people working for us. We want Google to be the third half of your brain. I wish there were 100 services with which I could easily look at such a book. It would have saved me a lot of me, and it would have spared Google a tremendous amount of effort. We've seen a massive jack on the freedom of the web. Governments are realizing the power of this medium to organize people, and they were trying to clamp down across the world, not just in places like China and North Korea. We are seeing bills in the United States, in Italy, all across the world. Google actually relies on our users to help with our marketing. We have a very high percentage of our users who often tell others about our search engine. Once you go from 10 people to 100, you already don't know who everyone is. So at that stage you might as well keep growing, to get the advantages of scale. Today, if you want to access a typical out-of-print book, you have only one choice: fly to one of a handful of leading libraries in the country and hope to find it in the stacks. But the vast majority of books ever written are not accessible to anyone except the most tenacious researchers at premier academic libraries. Books in 1923 quickly disappear into a literary black hole.